Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with a long overdue video that I've been wanting to do for the past week or so. But then I got sick with a terrible sinus infection. I'm kind of glad I did, and I'm also glad that I was able to talk to Kevin at Darium's CCG, as I think I'm a little more level-headed and the emotions aren't as hot as what they would have been if I would have just done this video. So, as many of you may know, the Magic community has been going through a ton of drama between the pros, between local game stores saying comments, between just a number of things. There's been a lot of drama and a lot of just hurt feelings and back and forth. And also the big issue with MTG HQ. And this is just what I want to respond to, because some of my videos I've been kind of called out and been accused of basically being just a henchman for MTG headquarters, or just that we're just best buddies and I just am out to, get him and just he's using me as a weapon, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I'm going to try to address here. And also the real point of this video, though, is Bookie2998 just did a great video about how he wants to avoid, like, the MTG community is becoming more and more divided. And I'm hoping that this video, I can just offer my perspective, just a little bit of the history of the YouTube community. And I want to move forward. I want to heal. But I think to fully do that we need to have full transparency, full honesty. I think I owe it to myself. I think I owe it to the rest of the YouTubers here to really just let it all out. I don't think you can heal as a community, as a person, as a friendship, unless you're honest about your feelings, honest about how maybe you've been hurt in the past, and just leave it out there too. Maybe I've hurt some other people in the YouTube community, and I just want to move forward with it. I don't want this divisiveness, and I hope that this video acts as kind of an olive branch that we can start a discussion, start a dialogue, and again, just move forward. So I had a great chat with Kevin at Darium's CCG. We're going to be trying to unite the community. I don't know if we're the best people for that, but at least I'm going to reach out to other people. I'm hoping they respond back to me. I'm hoping that this video isn't taken the wrong way as just like a vendetta or a malicious thing. But again, I've been asked for transparency. I'm going to give you transparency, and I'll give you my perspective of everything that has happened in the YouTube community. It's a very complex, complicated issue. That is why I titled this video Conspiracy Take the Crown, the YouTube version, as that's kind of what it's felt to me. Is it's always been like we've gone from one tyrant to the next tyrant, or as we like to call gatekeeper, where it's been a lot more back and forth, a lot of hard feelings toward people, a lot of alliances shifting, and a lot of us have just been caught in the middle to all of it. And again, someone needs to speak out, someone needs to just be transparent, and I hope this ends positively. So I hope you'll stay till the very end of the video, as I think that I can hopefully just bring it all together. So as you may know, I joined the YouTube community over 2 years ago. I actually started doing YouTube videos not because of a Magic YouTuber, but because of a StarCraft YouTuber. The StarCraft YouTuber's name was Husky StarCraft, and I just fell in love with his bubbly personality. I fell in love with the fact that he wasn't the greatest player. He used to joke and say he was a Bronze League person, but he loved to commentate and he loved to just do videos and be a part of this YouTube community. And so I'm like, man, I'd love to do something like this. I thought about doing StarCraft. I thought about doing Dota 2. I started doing a lot of things. I just knew that I wanted to do YouTube videos. And I just kind of grew out of StarCraft. A whole year went by, and I started playing Magic the Gathering. And I had a idea to make a channel, because I thought that the more rogue or the more Johnny personality types were underrepresented in the YouTube community, or just online in general. We had so many people that put out pro content or net deck content, and not enough people that really explored the creative aspect of Magic the Gathering, which is why I love the game and why I played the game. And at the time also, there was a guy named Frank Lepore who put out videos for TCG Player, who had a similar personality to Husky StarCraft. Just was a very bubbly, very open. He had play mistakes up the wazoo, and he clearly wasn't the best of players, but he loved to just interact with the community and make videos. So I'm like, well, if Frank can do it, I can do it. So one day I just decided to wing it, tape a YouTube video and go with it. And the video I did was called Epic Experiment, and it kind of took off because I was kind of the first person to really mess around with that card. And there just must have been a lot of people who were looking for Epic Experiment decks, and I gained my first few thousand subscribers off of it, and I was hooked. I loved the community, I loved interacting with people, I loved making videos. So as is very common in a community, I started reaching out to people, met some awesome people, met people like the people over at Gathering Magic and Jack the Mind Sculptor and Mr. Lubufu and like Zemit and MTGHQ and a bunch of other these personalities who are also starting down this road of the YouTube experience. Again, we are very underrepresented at the time. The only channels that had tens of thousands were the professional channels like Channel Fireball, Star City Games, and also Evan Irwin had his Mr. Orange Guy, which was also co-sponsored by Star City Games. At the time, he worked for Star City Games, and it was branded in with that. So it was only professional YouTube sites that were big with the MTG community. But at the time, there actually was one person that was quite big. His name was Absolute MTG. And so a bunch of us were reaching out to Absolute MTG to see if he'd like to kind of start a community, to start collaborating together. And the guy wanted nothing to do with it. In fact, he was quite rude to some of us. Mr. Lubufu actually still has screenshots of how Absolute was very rude and very kind of standoffish and whatnot. So we all decided, well, forget him, we'll just start it ourselves. So it was people again like MTG Lion and MTG Headquarters and a few other people. We started this sort of YouTube community. We started a Facebook group. We started chatting back and forth. We started collaborating and spotlighting other videos and whatnot. And everything was good. Everything was wonderful. The beginnings of the YouTube community. Then our first major drama happened, and it was over MTG Lion doing basically calling out Abu Games on some proxies that they were making. They weren't actually proxies. They were it's where you can print out some translucent film and put it over a card so it changes the picture. So not translucent. It's just you just print over the card basically, and it's altered art. And it's highly illegal to sell. It's against the terms of for Wizards of the Coast. You can have like hand-painted stuff, but you can't mass-produce these things. And the other issue with it is a lot of them were very scantily dressed or anime, and they just weren't in the best taste. And MG Line was just kind of making fun, not just making fun, and like, man, what kind of site would want this to try to sell their brand? Well, lo and behold, Absolute MTG was sponsored by Abu Games, and he was the first one that was guilty of brigading, or really sending his followers after MTG Lion. Again, we have screenshots for this, and it's all in the past. This is way in the past now, so I hope we've moved on from this one. But what happened to MTG Lion was very concerning. A lot of the fans of Absolute MTG tried to hack him, tried to dox him, tried to basically spam his channel, completely tried to get his YouTube channel shut down. Again, it was nasty. It was disgusting behavior, and we knew where it was coming from, and we all band together to the point in this just huge public outcry that Absolute MTG went silent for like a month. He took down his Facebook page, and we had dethroned our first tyrant. So, I mean, that's the first time that we all banded together. So, about the same time, MTGHQ, Jeremy, over at MTGHQ, had hit the jackpot with a viral video. He opened up a box of World Wake and hit a foil Jace and a Jace. And it went crazy, and his subs went crazy. So this is the first time that a YouTuber outside of the professional scene, outside these Star City Games or Channel Fireball type channels, had reached tens of thousands of subscribers. So it got very exciting for the rest of us. I still remember looking back at Jack the Mind Sculptor when I had like a couple thousand subscribers and he had 8,000. I was like, 8,000! That is so crazy. That is just such a high number of subscribers. How'd you do it? I mean, because I remember at the Pro Tour, I actually roomed with Jack the Mind Sculptor and Gathering Magic, and I was like, man, you're so big. And we just all thought 8,000 was such a just huge milestone. And I mean, we've come a long way in the MTG community. So MTGHQ now becomes kind of the big guy. And meanwhile, I'm having some problems on my YouTube channel. YouTube is known for whenever they change their site, things break. And one of the things at this time period was they were trying to do this whole rolling out of people being able to monetize no matter what. Monetize their channel. It used to be you had to have like a partnership to monetize. So they're rolling this whole thing out, but they're also, what they're doing is they're flagging videos and putting them under review. And a lot of them, you couldn't even publish your video until the review was done because they were so paranoid of copyrighted material. So anyway, a lot of my videos were getting flagged for whatever reason. And to get them unflagged, you had to go through this painstaking process of contacting YouTube and kind of fighting it out with YouTube that your video is actually safe to publish. And I just got so fed up with this because it was delaying. Like, the worst thing is when I do a video series and 3 of the videos were fine to go, but the 4th one, the game 2, it always seemed to be like a game 2 or a deck tech, couldn't be published. So I did some research, and one of my favorite YouTubers at the time was Freddie W. And I decided that he wrote an article about YouTube networks, YouTube partnerships. And in it, he just gave the pros and cons of these things and said he was part of a network called Collective Digital Studios. I'm like, Freddie W. can't lead me astray. I'll apply. So I applied to Collective Digital Studios, and they accepted me. And lo and behold, MTG HQ, Star City Games, Channel Fireball, and a few of these bigger names are already part of Collective Digital Studios. So I feel like I hit the jackpot. I'm going to start collaborating with these people. It's going to be all awesome. And if any of you know anything about partnerships, they kind of assign a talent manager to a specific group to see if you guys can get collaborated together and just kind of promote the brand. And so our talent manager reached out to us and said, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want everyone to put everyone else's channel on their featured channels, and I want you all to do a collaboration video introducing the other channel to your subscribers. That way we can have all this cross-promotion, and we can grow everyone's channel simultaneously. Yeah, great idea, right? Well, he understood, though, that Channel Fireball and Star City Games probably shouldn't do this because they're competitors, and he understood that. So they were exempt from doing this, but he expected the rest of us to do this. Well, Jeremy at MTG HQ did not appreciate this. He felt like slighted because he was the other big name in this group. There was Channel Fireball and Star City Games, but then him, and then everyone else was small fries. I think at the time I had 5,000 subscribers. And he sent back like a scathing little response saying, hey, these are coveted things. People want to collaborate with me all the time. People want to be in that little slot on the featured things. I'm not going to do it if they're not going to do it. This is ridiculous. And so I was like, okay, whatever. I guess this isn't going to go anywhere if Channel Fireball, Star City Games, and MTHQ aren't going to collaborate. This is just going to be a dead group. And so I just kind of went and did my own thing. So a couple months go by, and I am chatting with MTG Lion on Facebook. And he said, hey, let's do a collaboration video together. I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it. He's like, let's also get Jeremy in on this. And I'm like, that's not going to work. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, he's already told me he's not going to collaborate with me. In fact, here's the email. And I'd also sent Jeremy a private message, which he never responded back to. And so I just felt like, okay, well, this isn't going to happen. And so MTG was like, he's like, bull. And so I'm like, here, I'll show you the email. So I copy and pasted the email and sent it to him over Facebook. And so apparently MTG Lion went out to dinner with Jeremy, and I don't know what the conversation was, but I assume, knowing MTG Lion, that he was probably just poking at Jeremy, like, hey, I hear it won't collaborate with Kevin. Why you being a dick? What's going on with this? And then he probably dug more, and then MTG Lion told him about the email. So a few days later, I get this email from my partnership, and I'll just read it to you. It says, hope all is well with you. I just wanted to reach out and touch base after one of the members of the group reached out to me about something that he had heard that was troubling him. He had heard there was a portion of one of the emails that was sent out communicating the nature of the group that was screen captured and sent to someone outside the group. He felt like this was a violation of the confidence of the group by doing so. I am not looking at this to accuse anyone of anything, but just to find out what happened and if it was taken out of context, as I'm hopefully no one within this group is doing anything maliciously. I'm sure this is a misunderstanding, but I wanted to reach out to you personally to discuss. So I was really taken back by this because I had been friendly with Jeremy before. We were in the same group on Facebook. We have a lot of the same mutual friends. We have personally talked. And it felt like it was just the biggest I don't know, going behind my back. And instead of coming to me personally, he went directly over my head to try to get me in trouble. I mean, this was serious business. This was almost like to the point where this could legal be. I could have done something not technically legal with the contracts I signed or what non-disclosure type stuff like that. And I don't know. Maybe I was in the wrong by sharing the MTG line. I didn't think anything was malicious by it. I was just trying to explain to him why I didn't think MTGHQ would collaborate. So again, I hope this video shows that if there's one person that has a vendetta, that there was a point in time, or there still is, that I would have loved to see Jeremy and the whole MTGHQ brand just burn to the ground. I was that mad at him over this situation. And basically I sent back this, I said, my apologies. I didn't intend anything malicious when a mutual friend of HQ and I asked about a possible collaboration with him, and I told him I really didn't think HQ was interested in doing so. When asked why, I told him about the email and asked him if I was reading too much into it. This was months ago. If I crossed the line, I apologize. I was only reaching out to a second opinion about the tone of the email. However, I do have concerns about the group to begin with. And then I went on, I wasn't happy with the partnership because they've been siphoning off way too much. Partnerships are a joke. Unless you get with a good partnership, like CDS was an absolute joke. They did absolutely nothing for me. Nothing. All they did was siphoned off YouTube earnings, and then once a year they'd have this review, and it was complete, utter pointless to be part of it. So I just went off about that. I'm not happy with it, and this was just the tipping point. What am I going to get out of this if I can't even collaborate with people in the network? So I said, lastly, please remove me from any sort of group with MTGHQ. This guy is toxic. Okay, this is me. This is Rogue Deckblue. This is Kevin saying MTGHQ is toxic and pointless to be affiliated with. He has started drama in the community of the past. He can be crude and vulgar and impossible to work with unless you're willing to completely bow down to his demands. Does this sound someone that's friendly and is a henchman for and has always had someone's back? I'm telling you, our relationship was incredibly strained. After this, I completely cold turkeyed the YouTube community. I had a good thing going with Gathering Magic. I had a good thing going with my own channel. I was growing very quickly. I didn't need any of these guys if they were just going to stab me in the back. So I took kind of a time off. But then there was an up-and-comer. So now basically HQ has the crown, and I believe he's the gatekeeper, he's the tyrant. So there's a new up-and-comer, there's some new people to the YouTube community. One of them was the Mana Source, Wedge. And I noticed he is just spamming my channel relentlessly. Every video is like, cool video, now check out my channel. Oh, that's an awesome deck tech, now look at my deck tech. And it was just, it's those, as a YouTube creator, that's kind of tiresome to see comments like that when you know people, the only reason they're posting on your channel is to try to bring attention back to their channel. Now, at the time, I did a video series called The Rogue Roundup, where I spotlighted any new member of the community. You can go search it on my channel. I did this for anyone. I didn't care if I liked their content or not. I would completely spotlight them because I wanted to grow the MTG community. I felt like no one was there for me when I was a little guy. So now that when I was one of the bigger guys with over 10,000 subs, that I would at least extend my hand out to these new and up-and-comers and help them get some exposure. So I'm like, Wedge, or at the time I didn't know his name, Masters, I will spotlight you. Just make a 3 to 5 minute video and I will post it on my channel. You can actually go back in my archives and find that video that I did for Wedge. And so he was really, really appreciative of that. At the same time, there's a guy named Magic Man Sam that I became really good friends with. Really cool guy. Go check out Magic Man Sam. He's about as consistent as... He's not consistent at all. He'll make a video every 5 months. But I really appreciate Sam. He has been nothing but a gentleman. He is a great person. No drama from Sam. A pillar of the community. If anyone wants a pillar of the community, there's a pillar of the community that I have had no problems with, nor have ever heard anyone ever having any problems with Sam. So now I start getting excited. Have Wedge that's taking off. I have Sam that's taking off. They both love me. I love them. It's all hunky-dory. We can start this awesome new little community without big, bad, evil MTGHQ. So we start another Facebook page, and to my disappointment, they're all collaborating with MTGHQ. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This guy is just going to burn you. He's a jerk. He's the biggest. He's just not a person I want to have anything to do with. And so I'm like, good God, I'm gonna have to go through this again with HQ. I know it's gonna cause drama in the future, and so I kind of bowed out of that again. until one day there was a discussion in this community, again, that I'm still a part of because I was added to this group, so I still get these Facebook notifications and whatnot, about them wanting to add a person called Absolute MTG into the group. Now, a lot of the old timers, probably myself included at the time, were not cool with this because we remembered quite clearly the brigading, just the absolute horrible things that Absolute MTG did to MTG Lion, and a lot of people did not want him in the community. It still, people had not moved past that, even though there had been some time that had been in between this. And so Wedge was like, this was before my time. I don't have any problems with him. And there was a few other people, I think Tulare Community College had joined the group at this point, and everyone was like, yeah, just give him a shot, get him a shot. Darren CCG was very vocal about giving Absolute a shot, because I guess Absolute lived sort of nearby him or something, and they'd been to his store, and they were friends and whatnot. So everyone was like, no, we're bringing in Absolute MTG. If you don't like it, then whatever. I mean, there's been sufficient amount of time that's passed since this stuff. None of us were a part of this. MGHQ, Mr. Lubufu, and MTG Lion all were not amused. And it created the first divide in this community. And you had the people that left with MTG headquarters, and you had the people that left with the Mana Source. In fact, they started a Facebook chat group called No Fart Bags, which then got later to No Drama, because they believed that HQ and Mr. Lubufu and Lion had started a bunch of unnecessary drama about this Absolute MTG. And it got nasty, and HQ, of course, was HQ, and just spouted out his mouth. And there's one thing about Jeremy, he has zero tact. Zero tact when communicating with other people. If he feels it, he says it. No filter on his mouth, nothing. So there was some really incredulous things that he said that a lot of people did not appreciate and did not want to have any part of. And so that was the very first chasm. And I would say this would be the very first major divide between this Magic community that is still, to this day, causing tension between the Magic the Gathering creators, was over that whole issue. And I mean, I can see both sides of the equation, because I was around during Absolute, and I'm also had my own personal interactions with HQ that I didn't appreciate. So I sided with, of course, my buddies Sam and Wedge and all these other people, and went this way, and everything was hunky-dory. We all started collaborating again. In fact, MGHQ was this punchline with us. We'd always just insult him, and make fun of his brand and whatnot. So at this point, you might see the Darium's crate was big and going. We were sending playmats to each other. You can see Wedge, I believe, has a playmat. Has shown my playmat on his channel. I've shown Talarians. I'm wearing a Talarian shirt right now. We all sent merchandise back and forth. Darium CCG sent us all crate packages. We were all just the best of buddies. We're talking on Skype. We're doing hangouts. This group is just we're joking around with each other. Great time. What a community of creators should be. And then the next chapter of drama happens. There was a app that MGHQ was creating called Gamefinder. And he reached out to everyone and said, basically, I know we've had issues in the past, but I feel like as a part of the community, I hope that you guys would review my app. And, just review it. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you love it. Just review it, and I'll even pay you if you review it. He was going to give $50 to everyone if they reviewed his app. And we all were like, are you kidding me? This guy has the audacity to reach out to us after he's basically... Let me actually back up, because I missed a huge part of the story that I think is very, very necessary to really expose my involvement. So back again during the divide, I left out a key part here. When HQ and Wedge had their first fight about adding Absolute MTG, one of the mouth-spouting things that Jeremy did was he released this message on the Facebook group none of you guys have the balls to call me out. You'll say things behind my back. You'll do blah, 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 blah. All you all are pussies. All you guys are I wish someone at least would come to my face. And if they have a problem with me, at least come to my face and tell me that. And again, I had been very non-vocal in this chat group forever, because I just didn't want to deal with him. And I'll bite. And everyone that knows me, ask Zach, he's the best one to know, I never back down to a challenge. I'm the worst of it. You want to bait me? It's pretty easy to bait me into a fight. So here was this guy, this asshat, saying, everyone is just not man enough to come. So I sent off this public message, responded back saying, oh, I can't stand you. I think you're hypocritical. I basically just exposed the whole story and whatnot. And yeah, I don't like you. I think you should go. I care less if you were to, this is why no one has respect for you, blah, 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 blah. And then HQ responded back, finally, someone has the guts and the courage to stand up to me. Well put, sir. And he was like basically like commending me for actually standing up to him. And that night, I got a bunch of private messages from like the Manosaurus and Tulane Community College and a bunch of other people saying, thank you, thank you, thank you for standing up to HQ. Everyone has had problems with here. Everyone feels like he's been a bully. No one has been courageous enough to stand up to him, so thank you for doing so. And that's when, that was actually where the friendship between Wedge and I first started. I mean, we'd worked in the past. I was the first one to spotlight him, so I think he was appreciative of that. And then this was just kind of the beginning of an even closer friendship between the group. That's where he introduced me to Tulane Community College. That's where I was more part of the group now. Because, like I said, I was more part of the Gathering Magic brand and some other things, my own little brand beforehand. Never really immersed in this community. So let's fast forward again back to where we were all collaborating, we're all having a fun time, and then Jeremy approached us with the Gamefinder app. Of course, I didn't even respond back. This guy really thinks I'm going to help him out when he tried to basically get me in trouble with my partnership. I had no clue what could have came out of that if they wanted to actually enforce that. So I was like, there's no way in hell I'm reviewing his Gamefinder app. No way. And so a bunch of people were on the same page as me, like, can't believe this guy. Where in the world does this guy think he's coming from? Well, if you know Kevin from Darium CCG, he likes to think of himself as a businessman. He likes to think of himself actually as a truth seeker too, and let's put the emotions aside and just do what is right. And so he's like, what's the problem if I review his app? I'll review his app. Whatever. If I don't like it, whatever. Maybe some of my subscribers will like the app. Maybe it's a good thing. Just because Jeremy's doing it, I don't think should be the deciding point whether we review an app or not. And so he just basically told the group, well, I'm going to review it. Well, this did not go over with Wedge. Wedge flipped. He flipped. When I say flipped, I mean flipped. And it was not pretty. He had a complete come apart with Kevin. He basically, we had the new tyrant, which threatened Kevin. We have this all on tape. I mean, it was a huge mess. In fact, I made a video response too. We'll get to that in a second. But he went all out on attacking Kevin and how dare you and the shame and I'm gonna bury you for having the audacity to review the Gamefinder app. Well, lo and behold, also at the time, Kevin from Darium CCU was trying to set up a convention. Where we could all we were trying to build a community. This was so exciting. We were all above 10,000 subscribers and growing, and TCC was taking off, and Wedge was taking off, and Darren's was taking off, and everyone was just, it was getting very, very exciting. So a lot of the fans wanted to meet their content creators, and Darren's like, hey, I've got a shop. Let's see if we can get all the YouTubers funded. We'll fly them out to my shop, see if anyone else wants to come. We'll have a YouTubers convention. And everyone was so on board. People had already bought plane tickets, and Wedge says, I'm canceling my plane ticket. I'm done. In fact, I'm making sure that the rest of these people are not going to be there. Basically that was the tone. I will bury you, Kevin, for reviewing this Gamefinder app. Kevin from Darium CCG is a lot like Kevin from Rogue Deck Builder. When we get confronted with the challenge, he's just like me. He's like, oh? You'll bury me? I'll bury you. And so it went back and forth between Darium's and Wedge, where there was this huge chasm. There was some Skype calls that were taped without one party knowing that it was taped and then published on YouTube. There was a lot of just like very petty and malicious things happening behind the scenes. And Wedge, who has never been very good with emotions and has never been very good at handling just real world things, had to come apart. And I was pretty much removed from this whole thing. I of course wasn't going to review the Gamefinder, but so I didn't really know what was going on behind the scenes at the time. All I saw that one of my friends was hurting. One of my friends had been attacked very publicly and he was not he was in a very vulnerable spot. And we go back to kind of what I consider is very important to. I'm just a huge personality theory buff or nerd. And I'm an ENFP, and it's no coincidence that an ENFP is coined the champion, because one of the things that's like a double-edged sword for an ENFP is we're so quick to jump on the sword for one of our friends, especially when we feel they're in need. And so when I saw Wedge hurting, when I saw Wedge publicly attacked, I took it upon myself to champion the cause, and I went at Kevin from Darium CCG, and I went at him at full force, and I was not nice about it. I used my power, my connections within the MTG community. You got to remember at the time, I think I was on the fast track with Wizards of the Coast. I hadn't pissed them off at this point. They'd put me on Walking the Plains. They had put me on, I've had some articles spotlight, some deck text spotlighted. I had met a ton of the higher up people from Wizards of the Coast at the Pro Tours and Grand Prix. And again, I used my connections to really, really push back against Kevin at Darium CCG. And I'm sure he felt the power of that kind of thing. And we were on Skype calls with Wedge trying to just talk him off a cliff. That's how bad it was. He was so ready just to quit life, quit his YouTube channel, just completely just cave. And we're like, Wedge, it's just one person. You're gonna be fine. Who cares if you lost some subscribers? You're gonna be fine. And Tulane Community College was on a lot of it with this, and that's where I became really, really close to Tulane Community College, is through this whole kind of drama that was happening. And so again, that was like this whole take the crown type thing, going from one tyrant to the next tyrant to the next tyrant to the next tyrant. And we had once again another wedge in the community, another split in the community, where the people that were loyal to Wedge went with Wedge, and the people that were loyal to Dariums went with Dariums. And now we'd not only been split from the MTG HQ, we've been split now here again, and it was just a shattered pile of mess. But I became quite close to some of these people that I'd still, been friendly with. So time goes on for a while, and then the whole Magic culture just explodes into insanity. That's when I did about a year ago. This was all about a year ago. The More Hostility in the Magic the Gathering community video. That is the video that got me exiled from the Magic community. I know I'll never get a spoiler card because of that video, and because of just the backlash that I received from the WotC end of things, from the clique over there. Very, very many of the people that are high up in that, the content producers, were the most outspoken people about that video, because I was basically defending Jim Davis's article. I didn't think that he deserved the hate that he deserved for putting out the rebuttal piece to the Women in Magic article, which again is just a copy and paste. These people are not even creative. My little brother literally brought down his rock climbing magazine and said, "Look at this. It is word for word the exact same as this Women in Magic article, except they're taking rock climbing and putting magic." Because it was the same verbatim. Never ever ask a rock climbing girl who taught them how to rock climb, because that implies that a man had to teach them how to do that. And that's just, I can't even go rock climbing without getting flirted on by some, all I want to do, and it was just this, I at that point was sick of all of my hobbies, all of my interests being taken over by this discussion, which I didn't think had any merit to it. And yes, I understand there's problems. In fact, I think that with that More Hostility in the Magic the Gathering community video, I was pretty careful with the words that I said. Pretty careful with how I went about it. I was also appalled for what happened with Zach Jesse. I feel like we didn't know the facts, so why should we crucify this person when no one knew the facts? All we knew is what the legal system has said, is he got the green light, the okay to participate in society. His university, which he'd graduated with summa cum laude, had already come under fire, and the dean of I think he was going into law or something at the time, pre-law, actually went to bat for him and said, "What does this say as society if we can't let a person rehabilitate themselves?" And that article just struck pretty deep with me, because that's exactly my philosophy on life. Is I do think there's potential in people. I think there's potential in people that have done horrendous things in the past, and I do believe in second chances. And so here was this guy who, the only reason why this is being brought up again is because he was starting to get a lot of exposure, starting to do very well on the Grand Prix circuit, and a professional smear campaignist. And if you want to look at the guy that actually did out the story, he was a professional smear campaignist. He'd worked for politicians in the past. This is what he was good at. Dug up the story of Zach Jesse and just blasted it, saying, "Watsy, you're gonna put up with a rapist in your community?" And I just thought that was very uncalled for, the wrong way to handle it. If there was a genuine concern, this was the wrong way to handle it. And I was appalled by Wizard of the Coast taking away his MTGO account, just seizing it. And I was scared at the precedent of how many other things that if they don't agree with something that you have to say, that they can just take that away and just completely banish you from the community. And I felt like someone needed to make a response video. You can go and find that video. It's called More Hostility in Magic and Community. I've done some other videos on similar lines as that. And I felt like it was my moral responsibility as a content creator, much like I'm doing this video, to post that video. Now again, that did not sit well with a few people, and one of them being two particular people that I find it quite hilarious that their only success is being pumped up because someone else decides to feature their content on their massive channel, and they would be nothing without. Anyway, whatever. That's just a road to go down on another day. But they were very vocal about my video, calling me misogynistic, calling me a rape apologist, all this nonsense, all these stupid buzzwords that I'm so sick of because they don't mean, like, they don't fit the description does not fit the context. It's not homophobic or racist or whatever to have a differing point of view. Quit using those stupid buzzwords as ad hominems. They are just ad hominems when you use them that way. You're just trying to attack someone's character, not their argument, when you throw out dumb words like bigot and misogynistic and patriarchy and all this stuff. Come on, attack the argument, not attack the person. So I was very appalled, and I kind of struck back at them, and I said some heated things. So lo and behold, two people that I used to communicate with quite regularly started having dead silence with me. I couldn't Wedge and Brian in the community college seemed to want to have nothing to do with me. And I was just like, what's going on? These are two guys I went to bat for. These are two people that I had a close relationship with. I have their private, phone numbers. I've talked to them on Skype. We've joked around. We've talked about philosophy. We've talked about life. We've both had great collaboration videos and whatnot. And so I'm like, I was just so sick inside that this was happening, that I might have lost friends over this video, that I reached out to Darium CCG and said, hey man, now that I know a little more of the facts, which at that time I did, I just want to apologize to you and think I bet on the wrong horse. I'm starting to see these other guys as true colors, and I'm sorry. Well, Darium's used it as a weapon and forwarded on to Tulare Community College and said, see? Other people feel the same way. And that's when Tulare Community College reached out to me and said, hey, you got time? Let's get on Skype. Let's work this out. So we got on Skype, and the entire Skype call was him reassuring me that he will never punish me for my beliefs. He will never punish me for my videos, that he valued my friendship, he valued me as a person. He would never, ever, ever abandon or punish me for something that I held true to or believed in. That he had people with multiple backgrounds and multiple ideologies and multiple whatever, and that just wasn't him. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm glad that's out of the way. We're good. I'd hate to lose a friend over this. And he's like, just to show me, he's like, let's do a collaboration video now. And so I'm like, okay. And so we pushed out this video called Mono Red Infection, which was very, very popular. Some of his best comments, some of his fastest growing views and whatnot for a deck tech ever. And I thought it was a very successful. I gained 600 subscribers from it. It was just a wonderful, wonderful time. And I'm like, yay, everything's back again. We're going to start healing. We're all going to move on. And life is going to be hunky-dory. Well, lo and behold, he's like, and then he ended that collaboration with, we got to do this again soon, man. That was fun. That's the most fun I've ever had, I've had in a long time doing a video. I was just so stoked, so hyped to do it. So to me, soon means soon. So I reach out to him like a month later, and I get back a response that is very un-Brian-esque. If anyone that knows him, it was very unpersonal. It was just like, sorry, I'm too busy. Try again later. And this is a person again that if I needed to reach out to him, I felt like I could just call him up and he'd answer. That's the point of the relationship. And I was just taken back for this. I'm like, am I being paranoid here? What is going on? And meanwhile, some people are still going back and forth on me about this more hostility in the Magic the Gathering community. We have these people I've noticed recently, they've posted on Travis Wu's channel and MTG Headquarters channel, all these other people trying to shame them. It was those same shamers that were posting on my channel, trying to use the passive-aggressive BS tactic of saying, oh, Kevin, I like you as a person, but I have to unsubscribe because I don't like, your ideologies are toxic. So there's basically trying to play the I'm calm. I'm look at me. I'm all calm and composed, but you're bad. And it's just so passive aggressive, and I wanted nothing to do with it. And so I kind of pushed back against them. And I think it was a way to shame me. One of them in particular sent me a private message or a private screenshot of him corresponding, or some other people corresponding with Tolarian Community College, about how they would pull their Patreon if he would continue to spotlight me. And included in that screen capture was Tolarian Community College's response, basically stating, yes, oh, I know that, Kevin, yeah, it saddens me to see that he says he's a toxic person, it won't happen in the future. Kind of like Trick Jarrett's recent response to the people that outrage against the spoiler video. So it's like, oh yeah, I agree with you, Kevin's toxic, I won't work with him in the future. So I felt like Brian lied to my face. That the Skype call was complete. It was a complete charade. It was a complete fabricate. It was just his way to save face with me and to just avoid any sort of other public altercation or whatnot. And I was so cut. I was so hurt because this is a person I looked up to. I loved his content. I still to this day look forward to his content. He was such a pillar of the community. He was such a good friend. He was such an awesome person to interact with. His favorite videos of mine was when he had his dad, an old guy, rants about Magic. I love those videos, and it just cut so deep. And again, one of the weaknesses to an ENFP is we don't take that. I value friendship above everything. I will go to war. If a person ideologically differs from me, has a different viewpoint, has a different religion. I come from a culture in central Utah where I left my religion, and that is not tolerable. Like a lot of people that leave the religion are social outcasts. They're pushed away. They were shunned. Thankfully, my family has been very great about it, but I have lost relationships. I lost a girlfriend over it. Soon after that I left the religion, and I lost a lot of friends, so I know what it's like to just lose people over ideology. And I have people that are the complete opposite on the political spectrum. I like to consider myself as a centrist, so that's middle of the road person, but more libertarian leading centrist. I'm a huge person in free economies. I would consider myself a little bit right-leaning libertarian, centrist libertarian. I don't believe in all of the structure of libertarianism, but I do have the most sympathy towards that sort of ideology and whatnot. So I'm in the minority in the political spectrum. I understand that, and it seems like on both sides of the equation I have people continually trying to berate and belittle me for my not either going too far to the right or too far to the left or too far to the bottom or too far to the top. So anyway, I'm kind of used to people doing that, but at the same time it cuts deep when a friend completely abandons you. I have friends that are 100% like Bernie Sanders robots. I'm just bringing that up because as a libertarian, I don't like the whole huge government and whatnot like that. And I would literally take a bullet for this guy. Some of my friends, I mean, they are extremely have viewpoints that I don't agree with, and I love them, and I would take a bullet from them. And I have people on the opposite end of the spectrum that are still very much religious, that we get in huge arguments about religion. And this is over dinner, and we love each other. That's my best friend, and I value his friendship so much. And to lose it would be just catastrophic. And this is kind of how I just felt so cheated in this little community. And maybe I shouldn't have expected that. Maybe I should expect that the MTG community should just be all about being professional. But that's not who I am. That's not how I act. And what you see is what you get with me. You will not get like a person on camera and a person off camera. I am the same flawed, horrible person in front of the camera that I am off the camera. I'm a very, very banterous, very irreverent, very outspoken person. And I don't think that that's going to change. And I might lose future sponsorships or current sponsorships if I continue down this road. And I'm okay with that because to me, transparency and being myself, back to ENFPs, we value individuality more than anything. And that's how I feel about it. So it cut deep. And so that is kind of where I am with the community. And I hope that that I've got it all out. Yes, that Puka Trade video did have a bit of vendetta for it. I did call out the Manosaurus and Tony Community College because they were my sources. Those were the two that convinced me to join Puka Trade. So I did, and I think actually my referral bonus went to Tony Community College. My first trade, I sent cards off to Tulane Community College. I have that. I'll have this. I can pull up my history. He was the first person that I sent a bunch of Voice of Resurgences to and Affinity pieces to, because he wanted them. Like, hey, look, it'd be so cool to send a person I look up to. People have done that to me on it too. So there was a little bit of vendetta, but I also wanted to go back to the sources. I felt that they did owe their community a response to the video. So. And it's not just me. There have been other people that I feel have been treated wrongly by other people in the community. Cybin Lore, that was a mess. I remember in our private chat before we were discussing, talk about gatekeeping or discussing if we wanted to add him to the community, that people went off on him for his top 10 sexy Magic the Gathering cards. And oh man, you would from their dialogue, you would think that he was like the most sexist, bigot, horrible, awful human being, the patriarchy at work, for making that video, just a lighthearted video about sexy Magic cards, and it was just disgusting. And so I just wanted to get that out there. It's transparent. There is more going on to these whole alliances and these whole problems than what meets the eye. And so there are some people that are better at disguising those pettiness and those just downright just child behavior, and there's some people like MTG Headquarters that are absolutely horrible at doing so. And that's kind of where I want to have this all swing back full circle and talk about MTG Headquarters and bring this all into perspective. All right, so I've been accused of being the henchman for MTG Headquarters. The Puka Trade video was a hit that was from MTG Headquarters. No. In fact, I have ignored MTG Headquarters for months now. I think it was about 6 months ago that he started reaching out to me, and I ignored him. And he would say, he'd post a tweet or a Facebook post on his thing saying, everyone go check out Rogue Deck Builder. He's so smart. His market videos, I'm learning so much from his Market Monday videos. And I didn't respond to him. And he'd reach out, hey, I know we've had problems in the past, whatever. I just want to say I'm sorry for if I've ever offended you, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't respond because I wasn't ready to heal yet. Again, there has been no one in the MTG community. I will put this, that my hatred towards MTG Headquarters was greater than Wedge's hatred towards MTG Headquarters. I cheered when his Gamefinder app failed. I cheered when he used to get in trouble every now and again, and I had it out for him. There would be nothing more that'd make me happy for his channel to just completely disintegrate. But it did take a lot of courage, I believe, for him to reach out to me when he didn't need to. I'm a nobody. I'm a 25,000 sub person. I am no one compared to these other people. And he has been relentless for the past 6 months of trying to, make things right with me. And we didn't actually start talking until after I did that Puka Trade video. And he's like, hey, I want to tell you, here's been my experience with it, and maybe I can add to some. He then made a rebuttal video, which was very anti my video about Puka Trade and whatnot. And that's his own prerogative. I still think Puka Trade has a lot to basically be held accountable to. They have still not given me a response about how many people they paid in that gold membership and for making content, and how many people they paid in Puka points for doing stupid little content or promotions, which I think is completely unethical. That's again another video for another day. I said I would never rant about them. Let's just be done with that. So I mean, we disagree. Me and HQ disagree about that pretty vehemently, because he feels it is very necessary to be loyal to your sponsors. So anyway, we actually didn't start talking until right around that time. And I've got to give props to MGHQ. He has done everything in his power to heal the relationship between me and him. And that's where I stand with him. I'm fine with him. I know I don't agree with everything he says. Yes, I think he can be very inflammatory and very childish and very, foot and mouth syndrome. But that's not worth crucifying the guy over. I mean, if he has behavior like in the past, if he ever backstabs me again, then yes, people can say I told you so, and yes, people say Rogue Deck, you're an idiot for ever forgiving the guy. But I feel like we've moved past that, and I'm willing to collaborate with him, and I'm willing to allow him back in the MTG community, and I'm willing to put my stamp of approval on him, and I'm willing just to heal, And the exact same thing I want to just propose to Wedge and the Manosaurs. I am ready to heal. I'm ready to move on. Yes, I am hurt, Wedge. Yes, I am hurt, Brian. What you guys did, I felt was very low. I felt that we had a friendship that was beyond this politics, beyond this whole spectrum. I felt that you guys completely pushed me out of something and gatekeepered I'm ready to forgive. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to open up that dialogue. If you guys want to Skype with me, if you guys want to move past it, if you want to be part of a community, I'm ready and willing to be the past is the past. I've got it all out there. I hope this doesn't get too much backlash, but it has to be done publicly. If this was not done publicly, people again would still think, what the hell was wrong with Rogue Deck Builder? Why the hell is this dick have something against these two that have done nothing to him? I've received so many messages. What are you after these people for? They've done nothing to you. Well, hopefully this gives you perspective. And my feelings are important. My pain is important. The things that I feel have been wronged are important. And I'd like to extend that to other people. If I've done anything to wrong or to piss off or to annoy or whatever, let's work it out. Let's move on past this. So lastly, like back to HQ2 that I just wanted. I got this dumb little note here and I've just gone way off tangent. This is going to be like a 20-minute video and it's a 50-minute rant. But it's just disgusting. Like, I hope that we can move past this and hopefully we can get past what MTG headquarters does say, like the echo chamber, which I do find very troubling, where if you do, you can say whatever inflammatory comment if you are talking out against MRAs. In fact, it's quite troubling, some of the things that even my sponsors have published, where I know a particular gentleman wrote a whole article that says if you consider yourself a men's rights activist, that you should be banned from tournaments and must leave the game store because you're a bigot, sexist, horrible, awful human being that deserves to die, basically, was in the quotations, and that goes unpunished. Or the similar things can be said by similar people. And it's just very concerning when buzzwords get thrown around like homophobe. Let's talk about that for a second. To me, as a person that deals with this every day, as many of you may know, my business partner is gay. If you want to talk homophobia, that's homophobia when people won't allow their children to come to our store because of the sexual identity of my business partner. We deal with that on a day-to-day basis. We have to fight the bigotry, the sexism. We had an incident at our store where I thought was just completely, we had to sit some people down and say, hey, knock this crap off. You're making this environment very, very hostile towards this girl that was coming in, and you know these things have happened. And I don't consider MTG HQ a bigot. I think that running these stupid buzzwords around are just very, very just irresponsible. So let's just move past this. I had again a wonderful long conversation with Darium's with Kevin. We are going to collaborate. We are going to make this happen. We're going to have hangouts. We're going to have the kumbaya and hold hands and puppies and start sending merchandise back and forth and start holding up playmats and t-shirts and everything. And everyone that wants to be included is going to be included. And that's my promise. That's my commitment. I am bearing the hatchet. I'm doing what I'm doing to try to mend wounds, to close gaps, and to just kind of rectify the community. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I understand that they don't need us anymore. Some of these people have been basically branded in the WotC company. They're made. They're done. They're good. They're getting plane tickets. They're getting sponsors. They're getting everything. But for the rest of us, that had problems in the past, we can make this work. We can be a community. We can be a thriving community that puts out great content. We all have a nice little niche. I feel I provide a nice little niche, and all these other people do. So I guess just with what Darren's saying, I'm outreaching here. Let's start this awesome community. Let's get past this pettiness, and let's get rid of the crown. No more tyrants. No more trying to take the crown. Wow, this was a crap fest of a video. Hope you appreciate it, though. Now coming up on 55 minutes, your comments, your dialogue is greatly appreciated. Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. I love all you. Thanks for watching.